In Pakistan, journalists say they're being assaulted.
He started hitting on my elbows. I never had such pain in my life.
Abducted.
What do you know about the people that took you?
Everyone knows everything in Pakistan.
सीनियर सहाफ़ी और एंकर पर्सन अरशद शरीफ को कीनिया में कत्ल कर दिया गया है.
And killed just for doing their job.
I think they have stopped him and then they shoot him.
Rashad Sharif met his death on Sunday night.
Press freedom campaigners say that in 12 months, 140 journalists were threatened or attacked, with some claiming that democracy itself is under fire. I'm Mobeen Azhar, and I've been hearing from those who say they've been attacked in an effort to silence them.
अब ये बताएं कि सहाफ़ी इमरान रियाज को हिरासत में लिया गया है.
सहाफ़ियों की गिरफ्तारी का अमल भी शुरू हो चुका है.
In May 2023, Imran Riaz, one of Pakistan's most well-known journalists with millions of followers online, is arrested at Sialkot airport as he tries to leave the country.
पाकिस्तान के फैसले हम करेंगे. ये हमारा राइट है, लोगों का राइट है. डेमोक्रेसी ये कहती है.
In his last speech before his arrest, Imran Riaz criticised the powerful Pakistani military for gagging journalists. He blamed the military for ousting former Prime Minister Imran Khan in April 2022. Many believe it was this speech that got him arrested. It wasn't the first time the journalist had paid a price for his critique. There were claims in the media that the TV channels that were broadcasting his show were threatened with being taken off air unless Imran Riaz was silenced. Amidst the firestorm, he resigned. Imran Riaz is no longer in detention. Assalamu alaikum. Ali Saab ghar hai? Will you jump it? Is this your...
Yeah, that's one of mine.
His lawyer, Mia Ali Ishfaq, represents dozens of journalists and social media activists who've been charged with sedition. Whoever's in power, the silencing of journalists in Pakistan is nothing new. According to the annual World Press Freedom Index published by Reporters Without Borders, Pakistan currently ranks 150 out of 180 countries. So where are we heading this morning? Today, Mia Ali Ishfaq has agreed to introduce me to his star client. En route, he gives me some background to the case.
He was charged with multiple charges, one of them which is sedition, causing the public excitement against the armed forces, things like that.
In your assessment, are things getting worse for journalists in Pakistan?
I don't think in the last 70 plus years in the history of Pakistan, such number of journalists have been victimized, and at the scale with which they have been victimized in last 18 months. So it's like we can, draw a fair and honest conclusion that maybe there is some state policy to shut up all those voices.
For 142 days, Imran Riaz was kept in solitary confinement without access to a lawyer. In that time, he lost a third of his body weight and is still recovering.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mobeen. Very nice to meet you.
11 मई से लेकर 25 सितंबर तक मैं इस दुनिया में ही नहीं था. मेरी डेथ अनाउंस हो चुकी है 4 दफ़ा इस बीच में. मुझे ये भी पता चला कि शायद मेरा नमाज जनाजा भी पढ़ दिया गया है. मुझे इस दुनिया से मुताल्लिक कोई सही खबर नहीं पता थी in 142 days में.
In that period of 142 days, did you truly believe you'd be free again?
Sometimes I thought that this kind of life is more difficult than death. और ये आसान नहीं था मेरे लिए भी नहीं, मेरी फैमिली के लिए भी नहीं. They are still suffering. मैं बोल नहीं पा रहा था. वो जब मुझे सुनते थे या देखते थे तो वो खुद एक ट्रॉमा में रहते थे। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह आई हैव रिकवर्ड नाउ ऑलमोस्ट 95%। आई एम ओके विद माई स्पीकिंग एबिलिटी, बट स्टिल आई हैव सम स्टैमरिंग इश्यूज एज वेल। वो बहुत, यदि इसको मैं याद करता हूँ तो अभी भी मैं बोलना मुश्किल हो जाता है मेरे लिए।
What do you know about the people that took you?
मैं अकेला तो नहीं जानता। Everyone knows everything in Pakistan.
I've seen him on TV, and I know how bombastic he normally is. And he's not that man anymore. He was a shell of himself. And yes, he was prepared to answer questions, and he was prepared to share part of what happened to him. But when it comes to the subject of why he was arrested, who it was, were these individuals or agents of the state, there's a lot of implication, but not a lot of explicit information. And the most rational reason that I can think of there for him deciding that he doesn't want to share that in this moment is fear. Imran Riaz won't name his captors, but the organisation Reporters Without Borders have suggested that the way he was held points to the involvement of military intelligence, or the ISI.
अस्सलाम नाज़रीन, मैं हूं असद अली तूर, अपने प्रोग्राम असद तूर अनसेंसर्ड में।
Asad Ali Tur is a YouTuber who's been unrepentant in his critique of the military's grip on Pakistani life.
आज जो हम आपके लिए खबर लेके आ रहे हैं, ये इतनी तहलका खाना और तहलका खेज़ और इतनी एक्सप्लोसिव स्टोरी है।
He believes his uncompromising analysis and huge online following have planted him firmly on the military's radar.
तो ब्रेकिंग न्यूज़ ये है कि वज़ीर-ए-आज़म ने फौज को शट अप कॉल दी है।
In May 2021, Asad Ali Tur was seriously assaulted in his own home.
Come here if I can
He says one of his attackers claimed to be an officer of the Inter-Services Intelligence, or ISI, a powerful branch of the military, a claim we've been unable to verify. Astonishingly, the men Asad Ali Tur says attacked him can be seen on CCTV. So this was captured on the cameras within the apartment block?
Yes.
And just to be clear, so this guy
is...
You say he identified himself as being from the ISI?
Yes, this guy in the trouser and shirt.
Were you worried for your life?
Yeah, once I thought they are going to execute me. He come in front of me holding a pistol. When he came here and I'm just lying here, at that time I thought, now it's over. He immediately took out the magazine of his pistol and then he sat on me and then he started hitting on my elbows. It was like I never had such pain in my life.
Asad tells me the attackers got a call and soon after they fled. He was left bloodied, gagged and bound.
Then I gathered some strength. Feet were also tired, so I just started walking like this and I came out. When I started making noise, people came, they untied me.
He called for help and needed urgent medical attention. But before he went to hospital, there was something he needed to take care of.
I said, first we will go to the CCTV room. We have to make a video. And I was like, I know who attacked me, but I will not speak right now because I know the minute I will take the name, all the evidence will be vanished.
After making a copy of the CCTV footage on his phone, Asad headed to the hospital.
Can you believe within half an hour, 300 to 400 journalists were present in the hospital. It was a tipping point. We were consistently getting attacked. The community was so angry that now you are entering in our houses, we are not safe inside our houses. That was the main reaction.
Despite Asad's injuries, his testimony and the CCTV footage now widely seen, 2 years after the attack, the police have still not identified his attackers. After hearing firsthand about the pressure journalists tell me they're under to toe the government and military line, I reach out to someone who should be able to shed light on what's happening. There's a Minister of Information, he's called Murtaza Salangi, and he himself was a journalist. And in the past, he's been an outspoken advocate for journalistic freedom. So I've got a couple of numbers for him, and I'm going to try to set up an interview. Here is Murtaza Salangi. Before he became a minister, he spoke out publicly in support of Asad Ali Tur after the attack, demanding that those responsible be held to account.
ये इससे ज़्यादा शर्मनाक और कोई बात नहीं हो सकती कि वो इदारे जिनका काम लोगों को और मुल्क को बचाना है, दिफा करना है, महफूज बनाना है, वही लोगों की इंफरादी और इज्तिमाई ज़िंदगी को खतरे में डाल दें। और उन लोगों ने जो संगीन ये जो इंसानियत सोच जो जुल्म किया है, उसकी उनको सज़ा मिलनी चाहिए, इसके कतई नज़र कि ये कौन लोग हैं।
We know he's not happy about a previous interaction with the BBC, so it's unclear how this might go. Okay, I've just had this through. It took 6 minutes. Thank you, Mobeen. Text me your questions, please. It's a big night in Islamabad at the Human Rights Council of Pakistan Annual Awards.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mobeen, I'm from the BBC.
It's here I first meet Javeria Siddique, the widow of journalist Arshad Sharif, who was killed in Kenya in October 2022. She's being honoured today for campaigning to bring her husband's killers to justice. Arshad Sharif was an outspoken critic of Pakistan's ruling elite. He openly supported the ousted Prime Minister Imran Khan and is reported to have received threats to his life as a result. Fearing an attack, he fled Pakistan. After arriving in the UAE, he was told he didn't have the paperwork to remain. It was then that he left for Kenya, where he went into hiding. A month later, news broke.
सीनियर सहाफ़ी और एंकर पर्सन अरशद शरीफ को कीनिया में कत्ल कर दिया गया है।
Arshad Sharif had been shot in the head at a police roadblock. Javeria Siddique is still looking for answers about the death of her husband. Assalamu alaikum, Javeria. It's Mobeen. How are you doing? You okay? What do you know at this stage about the circumstances of his death?
I think they have stopped him, they have recognized him, and then they shoot him on the instructions as per they got, because it's a target killing.
You said this was a target killing. Who do you believe ordered that target killing?
The people who threatened him in Pakistan, we are going to shoot you in the head if you are keep exposing the corruption of the ruling elite and the powerful people of Pakistan. They did it.
You seem to be suggesting that it is agents of the Pakistani state that ordered the killing of your husband.
Yes, clearly. Because he was threatened in Pakistan, and the same way he was killed in the Kenya. He must be at a good place with God, but I'm at a very miserable place. Without justice, without him, this is not a life which I'm living. बाकी थोड़ी सी फैमिली बची हुई है, उसके लिए भी मुझे डर लगता है. इसलिए मैं बुज़दिलों और कमज़ोरों की तरह आपको नाम नहीं बोल पा रही. क्या मुझे नाम नहीं पता? क्या उसने मुझे नाम नहीं बताए होंगे? पर फिर मुझे पता है ना कि मेरे बाकी घर वालों के साथ क्या होगा या मेरे साथ क्या हो सकता है. मैं वो सब नहीं, मैं नहीं चाहती कि कोई मेरे नाखून उतार दे. मैं नहीं चाहती कि कोई मेरा दुपट्टा खींच दे. यहाँ कुछ भी हो सकता है किसी के भी साथ.
Do you believe that there will ultimately be justice for your husband?
नहीं, यहाँ कुछ नहीं होगा.
Joining the dots in the way that you have, even though you've been extremely cautious, there's an element of danger because you've made it very clear. Why did you choose to speak to me today?
to get justice for my husband. This is the only, because अगर मैं चुप कर जाऊंगी तो उसके लिए कौन बोलेगा?
Javeria is not just dealing with the grief of losing someone that she loves. There's also a fear there, because at one point she said, I don't want to tell you what I know because I'm scared of having my fingernails pulled out. The fact is, someone has to know what happened to her husband, and someone needs to be held accountable.
Hi Mobeen, how are you?
Doing? Asad Ali Dur is going further than speaking out about his experiences with the authorities. He's taking the Inter-Services Intelligence, or ISI, to court. It'll be the first case of its kind.
I'm not sure if anybody else has taken the matter to the court. I think they were not prepared that I will come out with a police report and I will report police about this. They thought that he was beaten and now he will be scared and he will not name anything.
Is part of you pursuing this the fact that you want to set a precedent? That you want to stop this happening to other journalists?
It has to stop. We have to live in an environment which is not an environment of fear. A rule of fear should end in this country.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Today, he's meeting with the human rights lawyer, Mobeen Azhar.
Please have a seat.
Thank you. She tells me, since 2016, 47 journalists have been charged under the country's controversial Prevention of Electronic Crime Act.
In the majority of these cases relating to journalists and their expression, there's never any conviction. And in fact, they're either acquitted or the state withdraws those charges eventually. So the idea is to basically force the journalists to incur certain costs of mounting a legal defense, a lot of emotional, physical exhaustion. So that's basically the purpose of these cases.
The fact that Iman is representing Asad Ali Dur has made her a target too.
There have been death threats, there have been rape threats at a meeting between various law enforcement agencies. And someone that I knew informed me that this was a plan that was being made, that if they were able to get me into custody, they would do that because they would want to traumatize me into silence. God forbid, if something were to happen, my family would stand by me, which a lot of women in this country don't have the luxury to say. So I think there's a lot that I'm also grateful for, so I don't let these things really get in my head or affect me. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. You just have to deal with it.
After much back and forth, Murtaza Solanki, the Minister for Information and Broadcasting, agreed to an interview and to hear the multiple allegations of journalists being attacked by the authorities. But on the day our meeting was scheduled, I got a call from his PA saying there was a problem. The minister did say yes to an interview. He did say yes, yeah. So that's the issue, you see. If I'm being really blunt about it, a lot of these allegations involve the military. That the military is effectively pressuring and gagging journalists. He's the Minister for Information and Broadcasting. If he's not going to answer these questions, then who is? After multiple attempts to rearrange the interview with the minister, I decided to ask him directly about the claims I'd heard.
It's been about 5 days now of back and forth with the minister, and I think it's fair to say there's just been an effort to stall and then stall and stall again. So I've had a tip off about his schedule for the day, and I know he's going to be doing an interview at this TV station. It's called PTV.
Are you rolling?
Yep.
Assalamu alaikum, Minister Solanki. It's Mobeen Azhar from the BBC. I've been trying to get hold of you for a few days now.
I have been busy.
I'm sure you've been very, very busy. I want to ask you about press freedom in Pakistan. Are you worried about the state's interfering with journalists?
If you want to force me for an interview,
I'm not forcing you. As you know, we've been corresponding for many days
I
now.
understand, but we have serious trust deficit with BBC because they have violated.
I can assure you, your interview will be treated
well,
fairly and accurately. Do you think the military is putting pressure on journalists in Pakistan? I want to show you this picture of a journalist who says he was beaten by someone from the intelligence service.
Could you please not act like a paparazzi?
I'm asking you, when you look at this,
act like a BBC journalist.
please don't grab my phone. I'm asking you,
then don't
when you
force me.
see an image like that, and this individual says that he was
I
approached
do
by someone
not
from the
answer your
intelligence
questions.
service. So why did you agree to an interview and then pull out?
Did I give you a time? Did I give
Yes,
you a
you did. 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Yes, you did. 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Thank you, Minister. It's quite a strange situation when the Minister for Information and Broadcasting, who is meant to be the person that is accountable for the decisions of government when it comes to journalists, essentially saying that he doesn't want to engage in any questions. Is that because he himself doesn't want to respond to these questions and these very serious allegations? Or is it because he has "Theek hai, hum jaane hai"? Or is it because there's pressure on him from other sources?
We approached the Pakistani government and the military about the allegations. They declined to provide an on-the-record reply, but a security source with the authority to comment told us all the allegations made by the individuals are absolutely frivolous, baseless, and devoid of facts, without presenting any evidence. The intent of framing these serious allegations without an iota of any evidence is malicious and unfounded in nature, with the purpose to only defame the institution and its key appointments to mint vested interests. It's ironic and unfortunate that all these made-up allegations are being held without presenting any evidence, which clearly shows the malaise and malafide intent of defaming the country's security institutions on behest of a few people. Whatever the outcome of the recent election, there's little optimism amongst journalists about a shift in policy towards the press. Government after government has curtailed press freedom, threatening the very idea that Pakistan is a democratic nation. Journalists who don't fall in line say they're paying a heavy price in the fight for free speech.